All right, guys, we're gonna go over how to use this RV. First of all, you have an electric jack right here. You have an up and down, and then you have a light switch here. Your propane tank is located here, and then just hopefully you don't ever need it, but the battery locations are right behind here. So that if you need something with the battery, that's where it'd be located. As we come around, we have a large storage area. This is where you're gonna find your gear, like your sewer hose, your water hose, all that kind of stuff. It's got a lot of space in there, so you can put some stuff in there if you need to. Also, every corner has a stabilizer jack. These guys right here are just manual hand crank jacks. There's gonna be a hand crank in here. All you do is you put it on, you just wind it down. Those are just stabilizers. All they do is stabilize the RV, so when you're walking inside, it doesn't wobble on you. Just make sure, the number one thing is when you're leaving your campground, make sure you bring them all the way up and make sure you don't go over rocks or something or some terrain and you catch one of those. They can bend and break and bend and stuff, and then you'll have to replace the jacks. They are pretty expensive. They're about $100 a jack. So just be pretty careful when doing that. You have a large awning here as well. Now, this comes out about 10 feet. Also, with these, just remember any wind, rain, anything like that at all, you want to keep these closed up. You don't want that wind to come and rip this off. These arms are just made out of aluminum, the same thing like a soda can. You can just crinkle it real easy. Same thing, unfortunately, with these awning arms. If it's windy or stormy, it can damage them, and they're about $2,000 to replace. So just be careful with that. Now we're gonna come over here now to get into the RV. What you're gonna do is actually lift up this right here and turn it. It locks it in this place right here. Now sometimes there's a little trick with these. If you pull on this door handle and it's kind of struggling a little bit, or if you have the key in there, turn into the lock, make sure to take your hand and push right on this area and push the seal closed, because there's a rubber seal that goes around the door. So if you push here, we kind of push in and pull out, just like that. You shouldn't have any issues. Sometimes if it's warm outside, those will expand a little bit and it might be a little difficult to open the door. So the trick is push and open, or if you're using your key, push and turn the key. The key shouldn't have any resistance on it. It should turn real easy. So we're gonna open this up and show you how to use the stairs. So once that comes open like this, there's a little blue lever here. And then what you'll do is with one hand, you grab the stairs, pull the lever, and then this just rotates all the way down. And before I get too far, I wanna show you there's little tabs here. See these tabs? Now each tab, if you push in, you can actually adjust each leg, the height of each leg individually. That way, when you put this down on whatever terrain you're on, you can make sure it's flush and solid. Make sure that this is flush right here. So when you open the door and close it, it closes smoothly. Now, what we've seen in the past is some people don't have their legs leveled very well, and they might be a little high like this. And then what happens is you create a gap right here, and if you go to close the door, it's actually gonna bend the door frame here. So make sure that's level anytime you're using it. Now, we're gonna reverse the process. We're gonna close it with the stairs in. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna lift up, rotate those stairs up, make sure this door is all the way open so that this tab right here doesn't hit the door coming in and out. So you're gonna push it up, get into position, get that lever, latch it and lock it like that, and then you are good to go. Anytime you travel, once again, when you close the door, kind of push right here on this area. But anytime you travel, we recommend you pop this up, lock it down. That way the door doesn't pop open on you when you're driving or anything like that. All right, we just have a little storage area here. This is the exhaust for the heater. So just make sure you don't put any gear or anything next to this. This can get hot. You don't want somebody to get burnt on that, so be real careful. This right here is the black tank flush. So if you're dumping and you need to flush out the tank, you're gonna hook the hose to this. It's gonna wash out the black tank, the sewer tank. Now, just make sure anytime you're running this that you have the black valve open, because you don't wanna have water going in and the tank closed, because it'll expand and you could damage the tank, or in worst case, I guess it could come up out of the toilet, which you wouldn't want either. So just make sure anytime you're running water through there, you have that valve open. Once again, you have another stabilizer jack. And then as we come around, we're gonna talk about the back here. Hopefully you never need it, but there is a spare tire here. Just remember, trailers don't come with jacks for changing tires. You would be using your vehicle jack to change the tire. As we come around, you do have an emergency exit here. A nice little light here in case you're dumping at night or something like that. You can turn that on, and we're gonna talk about dumping. So right here in the back corner, you're gonna have a black tank and a gray tank, and both of those have valves, and they are the same color. So a gray valve, a gray handle is going to be a gray tank. Black handle is going to be black tank. So how you dump this is you're going to have a large sewer hose. You unscrew the cap. You're going to put the sewer hose right on here. Then you're going to go ahead and pull the black valve open. That's going to drain into the sewer. And then you can run, like we talked about, if that's open, you can run some water through the black washout. Then turn off your water, and then you can close this. And then what you'll do is open up the gray valve, and what that's going to do is empty your gray tanks, which are your shower, your dirty shower water, your sink water, all that kind of stuff. That's also going to help clean out that sewer hose and kind of rinse out the sewage that was in there. You're just using gray water, okay? As we come around, this is your power hook in. This is a 30 amp plug. There's going to be a power cord up in that front compartment like we talked about. You're going to screw it right on here, and then the other end is going to go into the power pedestal at a park, like an RV park, or if you're running a generator, you'd plug in there. Just remember, if you're all plugged in at an RV park and no power's coming in, 99% of the time, there is a breaker on the power pedestal at the park. A lot of the parks will turn those off, the breakers off, when people aren't camping there. So what you want to do is double check or triple check that your breaker at the park pedestal is turned on and you have power flowing through the pedestal. And then also, when you're running a generator, you're going to plug in there. Any major appliance, and we'll talk about this inside, needs a generator or power from a park to run. So we're going to come around here to the front. You do have a nice little outside shower if you need to rinse something off. You have your fresh water tank fill, which is this. You would unscrew the cap, put your garden hose in there, fill it up. And then this one next to it is for like City Water Connect. Now, we like to go over this with everybody. We do not recommend you use the City Water Connect. A lot of times there could be weird pressure at an RV park or something like that. You might have too much pressure, you might have too little pressure. And what you don't want to do is hook in there and it has too much pressure. You always leave it on, and then you start getting little leaks inside the RV. So what we like to do is just fill up the tank, and then anytime you're wanting to use water, just turn on the pump. The plumbing in an RV is not like your house. It's just some fittings like pushed together. They're not really sealed very well. So if you had the water at the park on and you were running it, and say you left for the day hiking and you sprung a leak, the RV would be flooded by the time you got back. So just like I said, be careful with that. You can use it. Just do it anytime you're leaving the RV. Make sure your water's turned off at the park and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, the best way to do it is just to use the fresh water tank and the water pump. Anytime you need water, turn the pump on. When you're not using water, turn the pump off. That way you won't have any leaks or anything like that at all. So like I said, we do recommend that. And then right here, once again, this can get hot. This is actually your water heater. Just be careful. Don't lean any gear on there as well. Now we're gonna head on inside, and I'm gonna show you how to use the inside. Let's go. All right, guys, we're gonna go over how to use the inside of this RV. First of all, this is the control panel here. This is kind of the brains of the RV. You have your battery levels, your freshwater, black or gray tank levels, sorry. You have your water pump. You have your tank heaters, which you really don't need here in Arizona. But then you also have your awning light, and then you have an exterior door light right here. You also have your awning in and out. Just remember, if it's windy, rainy, stormy, anything like that at all, make sure you have that awning closed. You don't want to rip it off. Hopefully you don't need it, but there's a fire extinguisher down low for safety. And then we're going to talk about this awesome bed. This is a queen bed here, and then at the top here, above the headboard, there is a little inverter for just running. You can charge your phone. There's one plug if you had a laptop or something you wanted to plug in there. And then you actually have some outlets around that'll also charge your cell phone for you, or whatever other device you have. Now we're going to talk about this dinette. This is really cool because this converts into a sleeping area as well. So what you're going to do is actually you just remove the tabletop, and there's two legs. You're going to remove the legs, and then you take this same tabletop and you're going to put it, see these little grooves right here? You're going to drop this down right onto those grooves. You'll take these back cushions and set that right on top of the tabletop, and that creates a nice sleeping area. You could maybe get an adult in there, but definitely a kid or two could fit in there, no problem. As we come around, we're going to talk about the air conditioner. Just remember, major appliance, microwave, air conditioner, all that kind of stuff needs power. So to do that, you need to be plugged in at an RV park or running a generator with power to make these work. There's just a dial here to turn on, off, and fan, and then you have your temperature control on this side. Now, if you need heat, that runs off a different system. That's going to be right here. All you're going to do is flip this on. You're going to make sure you have propane, and that's going to start the propane heater for the heat inside the RV. we're gonna talk about the sink. Now, just make sure when you're traveling, you don't put too many items in here or any items in here at all. What happens is we've seen that people are going down the road and the RV bounces a little bit. And if you have too much weight in here, you can actually break the sink loose and it'll fall down. So just be super careful with what you're putting in the sink, especially when you're traveling. You have a nice sprayer here. We're gonna talk about a stovetop, okay? This is not a glass cooktop. This is, once again, this is not a glass cooktop. If you're gonna use this, what you're gonna do is actually flip this up. You're gonna push it back out of the way, and now that becomes your backsplash. This is what you would cook on right here. Now, what you wanna do is after you're done cooking, you wanna let this cool down before you close this glass. And absolutely do not have the burners on and the glass closed. This is supposed to be open at all times when you're cooking. If that gets hot and you touch a pan to it or something, the glass will just shatter everywhere. So just be extremely careful with that. When you're done cooking, you're gonna close this up after it cools down, of course, and then you put it down just like this for traveling. We have a microwave here. Once again, major appliance, you're gonna need power to run that. Underneath here, you have a breaker and a fuse panel. Just like your house would have a breaker box, this is basically the breaker box for an RV. So it's down here. If you're having an electrical issue or something, you would check here first. And then right there's that red turn key. That's your power and your battery disconnect. If that is off, there'll be no power inside the RV. So nobody should be really touching that, but if you have a little kid and they mess with it and turn it off and you have no power, you might be wondering what's going on. That's the first place you would check, okay? Now, great bunk beds here. These are awesome, great for kids, even adults can fit in them. And we're gonna talk about the fridge and how the fridge works. Now, this is a 12-volt fridge. To access it, you're just gonna reach in and you're gonna squeeze this side here and unlock it and it'll slide it open. Right on the top right is your temperature control. Going through that, that's how you would just set your temperature. Just remember, if you're dry camping or boondocking, you want to run your generator at least 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. That just keeps everything charged up for you. We have a large freezer as well. The size on this is excellent for traveling. We're going to go over the fridge here. I'm sorry, not the fridge. We're going to go over the bathroom and how to use the toilet. First of all, there is a foot pedal for flushing. What you do is, if you haven't used an RV toilet before, you push halfway down on the lever and the bowl will begin to fill with water. You don't want to push it all the way down because it'll drain it. You just want to fill it up a little bit and then you'll handle all your business, and then when you're done, you're going to push that same pedal down all the way. And it'll completely flush the toilet. Remember, the only thing that goes down an RV toilet is RV toilet paper. You don't want any wipes or anything like that at all going down the toilet. Those would clog up the tank and you'd have a bad weekend. We're going to talk about the hot water heater. This is Insta-Hot, and it's a constant hot water heater. So there's no tank that's going to hold water. It just, as it flows through, is going to keep the water hot continuously. So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to push the red button. It's going to turn it on, and then you're going to set the temperature you like. I personally like it at about 105 for a hot shower. So you would set that, and then you would just go ahead and turn the water on, and then you would have a hot shower at 105. Now we're going to talk about how to use the controls for the shower. This is quite nice. You have body sprays and things like that. Now I'm going to talk about how you access or use everything. First off, we're going to talk about the top knob. That's going to cycle through the different sprays. So left to right, it's going to cycle through all of them. And then the bottom one is the one that actually works the water flow. So to work that, you're actually going to lift up on the handle. It begins, you kind of pull it towards you and lift up, and that'll start the water flow. Now you can actually turn that dial left and right, and what that does is actually change the temperature. But as we talked about, if you've already set your temperature, you really don't need to worry about that. This is a fantastic RV. You guys are gonna love it. It's such a family-friendly RV. Has a great amount of space. We think you guys are gonna love it, and we can't wait to see you. We'll see you soon.